The dancing plague. In July 1518, a woman named Frau Trophea walked out of her front door in Strasbourg and started dancing. No music, no festival. She just started dancing and couldn't stop. She danced for 6 days straight. Her feet bled through her shoes. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. She just kept going. By the end of the first week, 34 people had joined her. By August, the number was 400. Men, women, and children dancing in the streets, crying, begging for help, their bodies moving against their will. People started dying, heart attacks, strokes, exhaustion. The city council decided the cure was more dancing. They hired musicians and built a stage. It got worse. Dozens died before it stopped in September as suddenly as it started. No warning, no explanation. Scientists still can't agree on what caused it. Mass hysteria, ergot poisoning, a collective breakdown under extreme stress, nobody knows. The Dyatlov Pass incident. In January 1959, 9 experienced hikers set up their tent on a snowy slope in the Russian Ural Mountains. By morning, all 9 were dead. But here's what makes this one of history's most disturbing mysteries. They cut their tent open from the inside and ran into -25-degree temperatures in their underwear. No shoes, no coats. They fled from something so terrifying they chose certain death in a blizzard over staying inside a tent. When their bodies were found, the horror deepened. Some had catastrophic internal injuries, shattered ribs, fractured skulls, with no external wounds. One woman was missing her tongue and eyes. Some clothing tested positive for radiation. The Soviet government sealed the files and declared they died due to an unknown compelling force. 60 years of investigation, theories ranging from avalanche to secret weapons testing to infrasound, and we still cannot fully explain what made 9 experienced mountaineers abandon their only shelter and run to their deaths in the dark. The WOW signal. On August 15, 1977, a radio telescope at Ohio State University picked up a signal from deep space that matched almost perfectly what scientists had predicted an alien transmission would look like. It lasted 72 seconds. It came from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. It broadcast on the exact frequency many believe extraterrestrial life would use to make contact. The frequency of neutral hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. The astronomer who discovered it in the data printout days later was so stunned, he circled it in red ink and wrote one word in the margin: "Wow, it has never been detected again." Despite decades of attempts pointing the world's most powerful telescopes at that exact region of sky, nothing has come back. Scientists now think it was probably a natural phenomenon, a magnetar, a comet, a rare burst of energy, but nobody has proven it. The most powerful unexplained signal ever received from space remains, nearly 50 years later, completely unexplained. The lost colony of Roanoke. In 1587, 117 English settlers landed on Roanoke Island off the coast of North Carolina. Among them was Virginia Dare, the first English child ever born in the Americas. Governor John White sailed back to England for supplies. War with Spain delayed him 3 years. When he finally returned in August 1590, on what would have been his granddaughter Virginia's 3rd birthday, the colony was gone. Not attacked, not burned, just gone. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no trace of 117 people, including a 3-year-old child. The only thing left behind was a single word carved into a wooden post: Croatoan, and the letters CRO cut into a nearby tree. A storm prevented White from searching the nearby island of that name. He was forced to leave and never returned. The colonists were never found. Recent archaeology suggests some may have integrated with a local Native American tribe, but what happened to all 117 people, including Virginia Dare, has never been explained. They simply vanished. Greek fire. In 672 AD, the Byzantine Empire unveiled the most terrifying weapon the ancient world had ever seen, and then lost the recipe so completely that we still can't recreate it today. Greek fire was a liquid pumped through bronze tubes mounted on warships and sprayed onto enemy vessels. It burned on water. It couldn't be extinguished with water. In some formulations, it ignited on contact with water. It saved Constantinople twice, destroying entire Arab fleets that came to conquer the city. Enemies who captured supplies of it couldn't reproduce it because nobody outside a tiny group knew the formula. The recipe was passed in secret from the family of its inventor directly to Byzantine emperors across generations. It was never written down. When Constantinople fell to the Ottomans in 1453, the knowledge died with the empire. Modern scientists believe it contained naphtha, quicklime, sulfur, and pine resin. But every attempt to recreate it has failed. The most destructive naval weapon of the ancient world remains a mystery we cannot replicate over 1,000 years later. The sweating sickness. In 1485, a disease arrived in England that nobody had ever seen before, and that the world has never seen since. It killed within hours. You woke up feeling uneasy. Within 3 hours you were shivering violently, your head splitting, your body burning. By nightfall you were either recovering or dead. Most people were dead. It was so feared that the mere rumor of it in a town caused mass evacuations. Henry VIII was so terrified he moved his entire court through the countryside every summer to avoid it. It killed princes. It killed dukes. Bizarrely, it targeted the wealthy far more than the poor. It struck England 5 times between 1485 and 1551. Then it stopped. Not a single recorded case anywhere on Earth since 1578. It came from nowhere. It killed thousands. It vanished completely. Scientists have proposed hantavirus, a lice-borne bacterial infection, an entirely unknown pathogen. Without a surviving sample, we may never know. Whatever it was, it's still out there somewhere, and we have no idea what it is. The Flannan Isles Lighthouse. On December 26, 1900, a relief keeper named Joseph Moore climbed 160 steps to a remote lighthouse off the Scottish coast and found something that has never been explained. The table was set for a meal that had never been eaten. The clock on the wall had stopped. A chair was knocked over. The lamps had been cleaned and refilled, ready to light, and one set of oilskins was still hanging by the door. The 3 lighthouse keepers, Ducat, Marshall, and MacArthur, were gone. No bodies were ever found. The official explanation was a rogue wave swept them from the cliffs. But it doesn't explain the stopped clock, the uneaten meal, the overturned chair, or why one of them went out into a violent storm without his waterproof gear. 3 experienced men, in a functioning lighthouse, on a small island with nowhere to go, simply ceased to exist. Over 120 years later, the most haunting maritime mystery in history remains completely unsolved. The Lost Army of Cambyses. In 525 BC, Persian King Cambyses II sent 50,000 soldiers into the Sahara Desert to destroy a temple whose priests had insulted him. It is one of the largest armies ever assembled in the ancient world. They marched from Thebes into the open desert. After 7 days, they reached an oasis. After that, nothing. Not a single soldier ever returned. No message, no survivor, not one body. 50,000 people walked into a desert and were never seen again. The Greek historian Herodotus wrote that a catastrophic sandstorm rose from the south and buried the entire army alive. For 2,500 years, not a trace was found anywhere. In 2009, Italian archaeologists reported discovering hundreds of bones, bronze weapons, and jewelry in the Egyptian desert that may belong to the army. The discovery was disputed. Other historians believe the army wasn't buried at all, that Cambyses covered up a military defeat. No consensus has ever been reached. The fate of 50,000 men remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the ancient world.